for each of these, we mentioned the 4 stages: cue, craving, response, reward. And for each of the stages, I've come up with what I call a law of behavior change. So for the cue, the first law is to make it obvious. For the craving, the law is to make it attractive. Response, make it easy. And reward, make it satisfying. So to jump onto the first one, the first idea is you want to make the cues of your good habits obvious, available, visible, easy to see. The easier it is that they catch your attention, the more likely you'll fall into the habit. And I don't know if we'll have time to get into this, but just quickly, to break a bad habit, you just invert each of the 4 laws. So rather than making the cues of your bad habits obvious, you want to make them invisible. Rather than making it attractive, make it unattractive, make it difficult, make it unsatisfying. Okay. So anyway, the first law is to make it obvious.
Okay. And an example, what is a good example of that for good and bad habits?
So one of the places I like to suggest starting is with what I call environment design. So basically, the things that are on your desk at home, your kitchen counter, your office at work, they influence your behaviors. And if you can restructure your physical environment or your digital environment, then you're more likely to actually stick with the right habit. So as an example, a lot of people feel like they watch too much television. So walk into pretty much any living room, where do all the couches and chairs face? They all face the TV. It's like, what is this room designed to get you to do? And now I'm not saying you have to restructure your entire house, but there are a range of choices you could make, right? You could take the chair and turn it away from the television and have it face a coffee table with a book on it. Or you could put the TV inside a wall unit or a cabinet, something behind doors, so you're less likely to see it. You could also increase the friction of the action in the environment. So you could unplug the TV after each use and then only plug it back in if you can say the name of the show that you want to watch. So you're not allowed to just turn Netflix on and find something. So that's an example of curtailing a bad habit with environment design. But you can also use it to promote good habits. So for example, I used to buy apples and I would put them in the crisper at the bottom of the fridge and I wouldn't see them because they were tucked down there. And so then 2 weeks later, they would go bad and I get annoyed because I'm throwing food out and throwing money away. And so I bought a big display bowl and I put it right in the middle of the counter and put the apples in there, and now they're gone in 3 days just because it's obvious. Same thing was true when I built a flossing habit. I realized that for many years, I would brush my teeth twice a day, but I would only floss every now and then. I was like, well, why is that? Well, one of the reasons is because the floss was in a drawer in the bathroom and I just wouldn't see it. It was tucked away down there. So this time I bought a little bowl and put it right next to my toothbrush and put the floss in there, and now brush my teeth, put the toothbrush down, pick the floss up. Now I floss twice a day, which I've been told is excessive. So it's, all I needed was that environment change, and those habits were kind of able to fall in line.
I heard a similar story with Google when they designed their workspaces. They put the healthy drinks in front and then the non-healthy drinks behind.
Yep.
So they don't try to restrict them from you because then everyone will be like, what the hell's going on? But it's just easier to grab water and I think fruit. And you have to reach really far back to get the sugar stuff.
There's a study that I mentioned in the book from Massachusetts General Hospital. They went into the cafeteria at the hospital and they did the same thing. They added water to all of the fridges, and they also added some of those little rolling carts that have water in it by the food stations in the cafeteria. And that was all they did. They didn't talk to anybody. They didn't motivate anybody. And then 6 months later, water sales are up 25%, soda sales are down 11%. And I always think that's interesting because if you were to go up to any person in that room and be like, why are you drinking a Coke? They'd be like, I wanted a Coke, right? Why do you have water? This is what I felt like having. But the truth is, some percentage of them chose it just because it was obvious, just because of what the environment nudged them toward. And you can do this not only for your physical habits, but also the digital ones. So I don't know if we'll be able to pick this up, but so this is the home screen on my phone. Right?
Look at it, it's got all black.
It has no icons on it.
I love it.
So when I wanted to build a reading habit, I have my phone and text message, but then in these 2 slots, I put Pocket, which lets you save articles to read for later, and Audible for audiobooks.
Right.
And so the first thing that I would see when I would open my phone up is I would see 2 apps that prompted me to read. And so I tried to make reading the most obvious habit in my digital environment as well as in the physical one. So,
and that, let's be honest, that is your world and environment for most people.
Right. How much time do we spend looking at our phones? Yeah. I think we often just talk about environment just in the physical sense, but so much of our lives are digital now.